जय राधा माधव कुंज जय ओम श्रीपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शतशिशमत् His divine gracious love, Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Prabhupada ki Samavit Bhakta Vrinda ki Nrsimadev ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, chapter number 9 and text number 3, 4 onwards, where Lord Nrsimadev already appeared, killed Hiranyakashipu. He was so angry that even the demigods never saw this kind of ferocious form. Every demigod, headed from Brahma, Shiva onwards, they tried to pacify the Lord, but the Lord could not be pacified. So, Narad Muni says that they sent even Lakshmi Devi, the wife of Lord Nrsimadev, but she was so chaste that she never realized that this could be her husband. So she was doubtful and she never approached out of fear. Then Prahlad Maharaj was sent by Brahma to tell that Prahlad, the Lord is so kind and benevolent on you that to glorify his devotee, he appeared, only you can appease him. So, Narad Muni says, thereafter Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj, who was standing very near him, said, my dear son, Lord Nrsimadev is extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and appease the Lord. Narad Muni continued, O king, although the exalted devotees Prahlad Maharaj was the only little boy, he accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded towards Lord Nrsimadev and fell down to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hand. And demigods forgot to pay their obeisances. Never we hear in the previous verses that every section of the demigods were praising the Lord, but nobody paid their obeisances. They forgot. When Lord Nrsimadev saw the small boy, Prahlad Maharaj, prostrated at the soles of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in the affection towards his devotee. Raising Prahlad, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head, because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees. By the touch of Lord Nrsimadev's lotus hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlad was completely freed from all material contaminations and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendently situated, and all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body, his heart filled with love, and his eyes with tears, and thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart. Even though he was sitting on the lap of Lord Nrsimadev, but he was thoroughly so much engrossed within his heart about the Lord, his position, his absoluteness, his transcendence, his supremacy, everything about it. So, Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon the Lord Nrsimadev with full attention in complete trance. With a fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with faltering voice. These prayers are extremely important to show the cultivation of Krishna conscious culture. Not only creates external symptoms, but the internal symptoms of his Swarup Siddhi, and the offering of the prayers, they are so much simultaneously exalting, befitting those position of a devotee, the deity, Lord Nrsimadev himself, and all that relationship and everything. It is a fearless transaction between the Lord and his devotee. Like Brahma and all others always fear. The very first prayer that Prahlad is offering, Shri Prahlad Vacha. Brahmadaya suragana munayo atha siddha sattve katanagatayo vachasam pravahai naraditum puruganai ragunapi vipruhu kintostumarhati same hari ugrajate. Prahlad Maharaj continued. One may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory exercises or expertise, lustre, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yogic power. But I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the other one. Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me, who have been born in the family of Asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words, although such persons are very qualified. Being in the mode of goodness, then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. He said, I am born of Asuras, Ugrajat. When all the demigods could recite so much excellent prayers, very well composed, very meaningful. So, the first qualification of the internal position of a devotee, that is so humble that he accepts his not fallen condition, but insignificant situation. He is a nobody. Manye dhanadin rupatapas trutayo josah tejah prabhava balapurusha bauddhi yoga naradhanaya hi bhavanti parasya punso bhaktyatutosha bhagavan gajajuthapaya. That verse, I was just reading first. Again, Prahlad Maharaj continued, one may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, lustre, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yogic power. And these are all easily accessible for the demigods. But I think that even by all this qualification, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him. Even an elephant in his consciousness, can do this. So, Prahlad Maharaj recites very excellent prayers, but in humility. Otherwise, all the demigods are managers of different departments of material affairs, and according to their capacity and their service, they were glorifying the Supreme Lord. But here, these services are material service, management of material affairs, and because it is entangling, so one has to pray according to his position. What position a devotee, a pure devotee would have? He is nobody. So therefore there is distinction between the prayers of a pure devotee and prayers of the demigods. Of course, some of them are pure devotees, but still, Prabhupada says, that look, Prahlad is the leader of all the demigods. A pure devotee is an embodiment of all good qualities of all the demigods simultaneously. It means all the good qualities of all the demigods are simultaneously residing in him. That's why he is the leader. That's why he is the leader. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Akinchan bhakti means no attachment to anything. This bhakti is so pure. Sarva gunai tatra samasate suraha. All the good qualities of all the demigods are simultaneously embodied in that personality, that pure devotee. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. Those who are not pure devotees, what good qualities they are carrying. Manorathena asati dhavato bahi. Generally they hover on the platform of mind and mental desires. So they cannot concentrate the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj is knowledgeable about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is meditating within his heart, even while he is sitting in the lap of the Lord. Everything is about the Lord is transcendental, and yet he is, aware, conscious of all the three aspects of the Absolute Truth. The personality of Godhead, localized Paramatma, as well as the absolute knowledge of Him. So, that is the position of the devotee. An Uttamadhikari sees all the time Paramatma situated in everyone's heart. And therefore, glorified in the terms of our impediments in devotional service. Queen Kuti is also telling about these impediments. Janmeshwarya Srivi, Edamanam Madapuman, Naivaharatam Abhidatum Tvam Akinchana Gochana. So, Prahlad is telling that all these possession of wealth and aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, all these are material. And if anybody is even serving, he can be affected if he is not careful. To be conducive for a pure devotion, that even though within this material body and material affairs, we take great risk because we are attached to it. We are functioning even on behalf of the Lord. But if we are not meditating within our own heart, carrying the Lord all the time, we may become, victimized by the Maya. We have to be extremely careful. That's what it says. So what to speak of those who are, learned in Brahman family. So in this way, he starts the prayers and comes to a reasonable point of telling the Lord that therefore, let me see, The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always fully satisfied in Himself. Therefore, when something is offered to Him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee. It means a devotee should pray, should glorify, because it is beneficial for the devotee himself. Not that he is going to appease the Lord, because the Lord is free whether he wants to be pleased or not. That is in his independence. Our prayers, they may be heard, but if that is up to him, we may pray, but we cannot anticipate the result of it. So the idea is that the offering of such prayers is also done by His own mercy. Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee, for the Lord does not need the service from anyone. He is Atmaram. He is self-satisfied. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in the mirror is also seen to be decorated. So, if the glorification of the Lord is the real decoration of our mouth, that therefore He is glorified. Who? The devotee. That it is beneficial to him. And Krishna reciprocates, then everything is worth. So therefore, although I was born in demoniac family, I may without doubt offer praise to the Lord with full endeavor as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter in the material world may be purified of the material life if he offers praise to the Lord and hears the Lord's glories. So prayer must be there. And Lord should be glorified in all circumstances. He gives further explanation about that, oh my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your Lordship, who are situated in the transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad and his father, the demoniac Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in the fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for protection and improvement of the universe. So you appear to correct the situation, because we are not like these great demigods. Prahlad is trying to take the humble position of acknowledgement that he is born of Ugrajat, he is born of a very violent family, Ugrajat. So, my Lord Nrsimadev, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed, since even saintly persons take pleasure in killing of the scorpions or snake. Sadhurevapi modate vrichik sarpani hatya. Tad yacha manyu asurasya hatastvayadya modet sadhurapi vrichik sarpahatya lokascha nivrutti mitaha pratiyanti sarve rupam nrsingham vibhavaya janaha smaranti. So, all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident in their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. So he praised Lord Nrsimadev in a in a very, very confident way that one should always pray and glorify, because it is befitting the glorification of the devotee himself. Because just like the decoration of the face may not be directly appreciated, but just like a mirror reflects, and then the decoration is appreciated. Yes. He tells this particular verse, and Prabhupada gives a very elaborate lecture on this, that Balasya neha sharanam pitarau nrsimha nartasya chaganda mudanvanti manjatau nau taptasya tap trivid ihanjasesta stavad vibhotanupratam tadupekshitanam. My dear Lord Nrsimha, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedy they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child, a physician and medicine cannot relieve the suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect the drowning man. If we neglect Lord Nrsimadev, Lord Nrsimadev will also neglect us. That is the thing, that we cannot do anything to justify. However, we may take other remedies, but they will be temporary and it will not be beneficial in the end. So, so many prayers will teach us how to look at the life which was complicating, and yet the glorification of the Lord will relieve those complications simply by prayer. So there are so many facets which are affecting, that becomes our very personal prayer to Lord Nrsimha if we are troubled that way. Nrsimadev will also reply. Prahlad Maharaj remembers all other incarnations and telling Lord Nrsimadev that they are all coming from you, that you took. It means Prahlad remembers the original form of Lord Krishna. Prahlad remembers the original form of Krishna. Krishna is the one who descends in all these different incarnations. So Krishna is called Avatari, and the manifestation of a particular form from Krishna is called an avatar. But an avatar and avatari are undistinguishable by achintya, means inconceivable potency of the Lord. So even to an avatar we can directly indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no difference. It's not that who came first. The Lord is manifested in the form of half man, half lion. But Prahlad was very much intrinsically attached and remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, within his heart. And he knew the Lord is everywhere, and he knew the Lord may also take such form, wonderful form, to counteract the cleverness of his demoniac father, that he will not know. But he was confident and he accepted. There was no bewilderment on the part of Prahlad Maharaj. He was so confident that here is the Lord. He may be looking different, but that's why one keeps the Lord only within his heart and never thinks of externalities. So this intense remembrance of the Lord within one's own heart or internal being is very much in tune with the Lord. That is the process of remembrance, and it is the most important process. Other process of devotional service are just subservient. Therefore, the Vedas say, Satatam smartavyam Vishnu, vismartamya na jatu chit, sarva vidhi nishedo eto erevar kinkara. All the vidhi means the rules and regulations and nishedhas that we apply to master a particular process of devotional service, they are but subservient to the process of remembrance. So, smaranam is the most effective thing that Prahlad Maharaj, mastered. That in any circumstances, he would not be disturbed. So, there is beautiful prayer. Naivo dvije paraduratyaiva itaranyas tvadgirgayan mahamritamagna chitta soche tato vimukhatchetasa indriyarthan maya sukhaya paramrudvato vimudhan. Prabhupada likes this prayer so much, that he quotes in the verses, and his explanations are very extraordinary. Oh, best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For however I stay, I am fully absorbed in the thoughts of your glory and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for their material happiness and maintaining their families, societies and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. This is the most exalted position of a devotee. Is called paradukhi dukhi. But foolish people do not know that their sense gratification is the cause of miseries. Yehi sansparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunte nateravati shubudha. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that the sensory perceptions are themselves the breeding ground for the miseries. So why foolish people are so much engrossed in gratifying their senses? That is called vimuda chetasa. But a devotee is always thoughtful, concentrating within his heart the remembrance of the Lord through or fostered by chanting and hearing. Nothing much has to be done. It doesn't take away any of our valuable time. But don't chant within the mind. That is another fantasy, or it will not prove. It is for those who have conquered the modes of material nature. Those who are liberated, they can chant constantly within their mind. We are confined, so we have to understand within our own capacity, but we have to take up the process of hearing, chanting seriously. So, that is the desire of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was told by Nrsimadev Prahlad, Prahlad, I am very pleased with your prayers. I want to give benediction to you. And Prahlad humbly replies, my dear Lord, this is a matter of devotional service. It is not that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, wants to benedict a servant after taking his service. And if a servant wants some remuneration in place of his service, this is a mercantile mentality. It's baniyagiri. I'm a sold out servant. So I do not want any benediction. But Nrsimadev was very pleased with this answer. He says, no, but you have just told me that I'm independent. I want to give you. I want to give you benediction. Ask me, what do you want? Then he said something about his father, please liberate him. He was a very demoniac, but still liberate. Nrsimadev said, anybody who is killed with my hands, they are already liberated. You don't have to ask for him. I want to give you personally. Therefore, Prahlad, he was steadfast. He says, no, please let me. If you want to benedict me, let me stay in this material world. Amongst these fools who are sense gratifiers, so I can preach them and bring them to your lotus feet. This is called ahetuki bhakti. It pleases the Lord so much. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Mama janmani janmani Ishvare bhavatat bhakti ahetuki tvai. This is the desire. And Prahlad Maharaj became perfect, devotee, through such endeavor. Otherwise, you can imagine how many odes there were in his life. He was at tender age. The father was demoniac. The father was able to tremble all the demigods even. And he had nothing except the holy name. Father tried to kill him so many times. He had no option, only he was taking total surrender, shelter at the lotus feet. He never forgot that time. And nothing happened to him. He was the self-same body in transcendence. But it is said that all the connections with his father, with the demoniac nature, might have contaminated at the same time. But his Maranam was perfect and he was already in transcendence. Yet the demigods saw that Prahlad was picked up by Nrsimadev and his hands was there, so he was completely purified of all material contaminations of being an ugra. That's all right. But he was perfectly purified by remembering process. So in this way, Prahlad is saying so many things that are instructive to us. And this particular chapter is very important in the life of a devotee. Prahlad Maharaj was given benediction, Sri Bhagavan Uvaj, and you can read such a conversation. It's very, very important. He is the best among the all exalted devotees. He says that Prahlad said, "My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because I was born in an atheistic family, I am naturally attached to material enjoyment. Therefore, kindly do not tempt me with these illusions." The benedictions are illusory. I am very much afraid of material conditions and I desire to be liberated from materialistic life. It is for this reason that I have taken shelter of your lotus feet. He was already liberated. And yet he is keeping the low key. Low key. See? Oh, my worshipable Lord, because the seed of lusty desire, which is the root cause of the material existence, is within the core of everyone's heart, you have sent me to this material world to exhibit the symptom of a pure devotee. Nanyatha te akhila guru ghateta karunatmana yasta ashis asaste na bhritya sa vai vanika. Otherwise, O my Lord, O Supreme Instructor of the entire world, you are so kind to your devotee that you could not induce him to do something unbeneficial for him. On the other hand, one who desires some material benefit in exchange of devotional service cannot be your pure devotee. Indeed, he is no better than a merchant who wants profit in exchange of service. A servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not qualified servant or pure devotee. Similarly, a master who bestows benediction upon his servant because of desire to maintain the prestigious position as master is not a pure master. So, it is so reciprocal. Oh my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant and you are my eternal master. Therefore, no need of our being anything other than the master and servant. You are naturally my master and I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. So that is what is wanted. Anya bilashta sunyam jnana karmana ananaputam anukulyena krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. The topmost devotional service depends upon no material desires, never to arise. Then even impersonal knowledge or unwanted knowledge besides devotional service is not at all required. It actually is an impediment. And just karma kanda or doing all this very methodically, they are also not required. In spontaneous devotional service, karma kanda is the biggest obstacle. So never perform this. So jnana karmadana vrutam anukulyena krishna anushilanam. Only one and one factor. Whatever we render, is it favorable to the Lord or not? Then it is Uttam Bhakti. So, in this way, Prahlad Maharaj is glorifying and by glorification of such personality of Godhead, the reciprocation of the Lord glorifies the devotee. Very, very important chapter. And in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we have the most predominant teaching based on Prahlad Maharaj, his life, not others. So, even our Gurukul system was started on his instructions, and we have to say that there is no greater importance other than Prahlada's teachings in our life to raise our children. So thank you very much. Anybody has any question? Comments?
Yeah. Amidst all the doubts and confusion, how is Prahlad Maharaj sure that this is Krishna? How is Prahlad Maharaj sure that this is Krishna? Like how, seeing this form, how is he sure that this is Krishna?
The absolute truth exists in three phases, is it not? By remembering process, what he heard from Narad Muni, he, the knowledge was already imparted, which is divine. It doesn't require much detail. Even a child at the age of 7 can listen to these transcendental vibrations if it is done by a transcendental personality like Narad Muni himself. So everything became so conducive that Prahlad, his character was liberated right from the very beginning. Only his activities are exposed when he turned 5, according to his age, and he started preaching. So the confirmation comes through the knowledge of transcendence plus remembrance of the Lord all the time. That reveals everything. And he must have heard it even. So you cannot doubt that he did not know Nrsimadev. But these pastimes are happening over and over again. So a person who is so much devoted, then this devotion itself brings knowledge and detachment. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayatyasu Jnanam Vairagyam Chat Ahitukam. By worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, the byproducts are ahituki jnana and vairagya. So when one receives such transcendental knowledge, doesn't that make him confident? And when his process is always remembering that transcendental personality, so he did not create any doubt. Demigods did have, including Lakshmi had doubt. One may accept the Lord theoretically, but when it comes for interaction, demigods failed, isn't it? But Prahlad was able to interact with the Lord. Bhaktya tu ananyaya shakya aham evam vidho arjun gyatum drashtum cha tatvena pravishtum cha parantapa. Only by undivided devotional service can I be known as I am, standing before you, Arjuna. So undivided devotional service brings forth the knowledgeability. First, Gyatum means not only that you will be knowing in truth, but drashtum, you will be able to see me in truth, and you will be able to enter in the interactions in truth. So, if Prahlad can achieve this, it qualifies him to be leader of all the demigods. So this is an incident that glorifies the pure devotee Prahlad. The other pure devotees are there, they are also Mahajanas. But they are very mature. Prahlad is of tender age. He can also be mature. Spiritual maturity is more important than physical maturity. Yes?
Maharaj, you have mentioned the spontaneous devotional service and shouldn't be done. What do you mean by spontaneous devotional service? Exactly.
Spontaneous devotional service is when one's heart is purified, become free from the effect of the material modes of nature. One's devotional service does not find any impediment. It flows spontaneously without any hindrance. Means continuously. Spontaneous means continuous. But reciprocation, when the Lord is reciprocating, there is no hindrance either. But this reciprocation is given immediately. Suppose Krishna is standing right before you immediately. What will you do? Oh. And Dhruv Maharaj had this problem. First of all, he got stunned when Lord Vishnu came. He could not say anything. The Lord has to touch his conch on his head and say, okay, now start speaking. Do you think it was spontaneous? No. Prahlad is on a spontaneous level. But at the same time, he was waiting. A very great quality for a Vaishnava, that he doesn't want to transgress the Maryada Vyatikram, the superiority of others. So he waited till his turn came. He was not anticipating, but he was conscious of all the things which are going on. He was not proud that, yeah, let me wait, after all they will come to me. Huh? So he was very reserved, very grave, very concentrated on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing. So that is spontaneous love. He didn't have any effort. Otherwise, Dhruv also got some symptoms of ecstasy by seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Vishnu standing. He was amazed. The ecstatic symptoms started. His voice was choking up. And the tears in his eyes were coming. He was repenting within, but he could not express. Because he was correcting his mental, atmosphere, how to react. And he was stunned. So where is the question of spontaneity? Very immediate, reciprocative, When one is in deep love, inseparable love, the activity between them or interaction is called spontaneous. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is independent. His energies are so spontaneous that they can do simply because they know the desire of the Lord. So the Lord doesn't have to order his energy, hey, do this. But for material energy, he has to instruct. Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sachara achara. It is his energy.